I'm here with Charlie Nixon. Charlie, why are you here today? Who do you represent and why are you here?
Well, I'm a farmer from up in Grey County and have farmed sheep for 22 years up there. We use lots of alfalfa in our hay mix, and we're here because we're protesting the whole concept of coexistence of the genetically modified alfalfa with those of us that don't want any genetically modified alfalfa. For example, I grow hay and I like to mix in some bird's foot trefoil,
yes,
which is another legume plant, as well as white clover and timothy, and often I put oats and barley seed in with it, all in the same mix. So of course there'd be no reason to want to spray Roundup afterwards because you'd kill everything that you've already put in, save the alfalfa. So it just has no room in our farm. Like, I have no reason to have it, but we know that our crop is going to become contaminated if one of our neighbors uses the genetically modified alfalfa. And the bees will do that, the bees and the wind. We can't stop that.
No.
So that's our big concern, is that if we allow this to come into Ontario, soon many of the organic farms will not be able to sell milk as organic milk if their cows have eaten the contaminated alfalfa.
So it really impacts your livelihood as an organic farmer.
Absolutely.
Do you think, genetically modified alfalfa, does it, when sheep eat it, do you think there's an effect or a long-term effect on it, or is it just,
We're all asking that same question, and there's no research that's been done to say yes or no whether there are any ill effects on the animals themselves.
Sure.
But it's simply in the guidelines and the definition of organic farming. Organic farming, by definition, does not allow for genetically modified crops on your farm, because then you're no longer organic. So, you know, we can't fight that definition that's been enshrined in the organic movement for many years. And so that's why people will lose their organic status,
sure,
if their animals are being fed hay,
sure,
that contains a genetically modified form of alfalfa.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's a bit complicated for some people to grasp, but...
Do you think, a situation like this, it seems to be a good turnout here today, but is there an upside? In other words, the fact that you're all here together, does it weld you together and become stronger every time one of these things happens?
Well, yes, it does. Of course it does. We're glad to see that there's a lot of urban people here as well. People that have these same concerns about just wondering what this GMO business is going to do to human health in the future. And, you know, those are valid concerns, but we don't have answers for that right now. But yes, it's like solidarity, you know, farmers. There were a good number of farmers here today, but we were bolstered by a number of city people that
sure,
are also concerned about food.
Farmers basically trust. If you think of 20 or 30 years ago, when a lot of these big companies took hold and said, hey, this is better, you can do this, it'll do that. But there's so many foods out there and so many new allergies and inexplicable allergy symptoms. So, we may not think that it's doing any harm in the short term, but when stuff like this happens, I think we have to ask ourselves, where is it coming from?
That's right.
And so often things get implemented, and then 20 years later they say, hey, something, that we were wrong.
Yes, yes. In the National Farmers Union, that's a big concern for us, is the question of sustainability. Whether or not the farming practices that we are using are going to be sustainable on into the future. So the bigger is better concept, in our opinion, does not provide sustainability.
So Marty, now you farm, where do you farm?
I farm an hour west of here in Brussels, towards Lake Huron.
And initially you were going to be possibly speaking here today?
I've just come from the panel discussion. I was invited to speak there, and I just came down to see my colleagues outside the building.
So what is Monsanto like? I know that I came from the farm, and for years, we were told that, better grains had better yields, and we used I think we just kind of fell in it like anybody else in agriculture, that this is good and why would it be bad? But it seems like today things are different.
Well, especially with the GM alfalfa, they say it's about weed control, but there is no weed problem in alfalfa. Alfalfa doesn't need weed control, and I pointed it out. I said, you guys think it's about weed control, I think it's about a different kind of control. I think they all want us to sign technology use agreements for everything that we grow now, and quite frankly, we don't need that in alfalfa.
No, it's bad enough in technology when they get people signing,
right.
You know, use agreements. It's
we don't need it for alfalfa.
No.
It's just that they want us to pay the royalties. Is why they introduced it.
And if there's GMO alfalfa next to non-GMO alfalfa, what will that do to the non-GMO alfalfa? I mean, the bees fly from field to field.
The bees from field to field, it'll be about 3% outcrossing or less, but 3% times 1 million plants per acre, that's a lot of plants.
Sure, so it changes.
There's no way we can contain the technology once it's been released, and even now before it's been released from so-called controlled research plots, it has outcrossed already.
So, I mean, is this a done deal? Is this, is there just basically lip service in here, or is there still a chance to stop alfalfa from coming to Ontario?
No, it's a done deal.
It's a done deal.
It's been decided before Jerry Ritz became the Minister of Agriculture in about 10 years ago.
Okay.
So it's been decided a long time ago. It's just that they're just waiting for the right time to put it out to the producers right now, and they think that right now is the right time. And I talked to seed producers out west who rely on the seed industry and which would be ruined by the introduction of GM alfalfa, and they were outraged by that. They haven't heard about it yet. And they're outraged by the fact that now it's actually being released fairly soon.
Right. Diane Fleschauer, hey, why are you here today? Are you a farmer?
I'm an organic farmer.
Cool.
We've been farming for 20 years, and I really believe in this. And I think that people do make a difference. We grow garlic as well as other crops, and we have people coming from Toronto. It's special to get our garlic and supporting the organic farmer, and it's really neat to have a small amount of positive people that can make a difference.
Yeah.
Kind of like Dorothy clicking her heels. If we buy organic food, we can make a difference. We can totally change the landscape.
Yeah.
So we do have the power.
And grassroots, no pun intended. So the alfalfa situation here, well, I guess we're across the street from where Monsanto is. Is it a dealer meeting, or what are they doing over there?
Well, I was talking to Gabrielle Betcher, and she said it's really hard to be in the meeting like that. It feels pretty hopeless. And I know the hopeless feelings because we've had our corn contaminated by our neighbors, and it is a very hopeless feeling when people really don't care, and it really does matter.
So really, it's with the genetically modified alfalfa. What are the claims that they're making on the benefit side? Is it better? I mean, alfalfa is pretty prolific, you know, on its own. Like, is it supposed to be better alfalfa? Is it supposed to be faster to maturity? Like what? I've got a little farming background, but I'm just kind of wondering what is the benefit that they're saying to genetically modified alfalfa?
I can't answer that because I don't really know the answer to that. I just know from my end how it will affect us.
Right.
Because we do grow alfalfa.
So if it's next
door,
builder,
and I know how our corn got contaminated. I just about landed in the mental hospital. It's really difficult when your neighbors are related to you and they really don't care.
Right.
And we are all very connected. We come from the same stardust. We're all the same, and we're heading in a very we're very blindly heading in a path that's kind of scary.